Thank you. All right, look a bit. Ready, starting now.
Mhm.
Greetings, football lovers. Welcome to another episode of Ball Chat Podcast, a weekly podcast where we review the weeks preceding in football or soccer. I'm your host, Benton, along with the family. Come on, how are you doing?
I'm good.
And our engineer, two-thirds of our family is not here. Well, a third of our family is not here. There's only two-thirds that's in the building, so are on the show today. I just want to make sure that the stream is going through clearly. I'm not seeing it up on Facebook, but I want to make sure that it's coming through cleanly. So football lovers, you can link us on social media or any other platform that we're on. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, or Twitter, or Ball Chat Podcast. On this week's show, we'll review the weeks preceding in global football. And this week we start off with our ballers and bugs. Ballers being the most impressive players, and bugs being the unimpressive players. And we segue to review the European football in Europe. We'll talk about the EPL, the La Liga, preview or discuss the Spurs versus Liverpool matchup and was that a penalty, and then wrap up with our prediction segment. But I am talking way too much. Come on, who you have as your ball of the week?
I have to give it to Captain America for scoring that hat trick. That's Christian Pulisic of Chelsea. I have to give it to him because and some players would be disappointed with not coming in with, the fanfare that he came in with, but not being given the opportunity, I should say. So he came on, but actually he started and he showed Frank Lampard what he's actually missing. Grant you, it was only Burnley, but we've lost to Burnley before. So for him to score a hat trick in this fashion, he earns my baller of the week.
And big up yourself, Jug, for letting us know that Facebook is up and running. Thank you so much. I'm pressing so many buttons. Engineer, we miss you. Junior, take care of yourself. Look forward to seeing you next week, boss, because this is just too many things to press at once. You can send on your questions or your comments on Facebook. We want to hear your ballers and bugs. And or on YouTube, you can send on your ballers and bugs. Send them on. Ballers being the most impressive player of the week, and Bug being the unimpressive player of the week. So Captain America, Christian Pulisic, Mr. Hat-trick scoring. Captain America is Camon's ball of the week as he scored a hat-trick as Chelsea defeated Burnley 4-2. Wow, he was out. It was quite impressive in his ball of the week. My ball of the week is Raheem Sterling. Come on. It's got to be Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling scored a hat trick against Atalanta in the Champions League for Manchester City. And he also scored to start off a Manchester City victory yesterday in a more recent EPL matchup. I mean, Raheem Sterling is playing on another level, right? Come on.
Yes.
No, but he's converting the chances now. That's the thing.
I think he still misses more than he should for a player of his quality.
Yeah, and Manchester City defeated. I'm trying to remember who the City defeated yesterday. Was it Aston Villa? Two was it 2-3-0? I think it was the final score in that game against Aston Villa. Pep Guardiola said after the game, if Manchester City plays like way in the first half throughout the season, they will be threatened with relegation. Pep Guardiola was not very happy with the first half display. But Jug's ball of the week is Raheem Sterling. Yeah, man, great minds think alike, right? Raheem Sterling was the ball of the week for us. Keep your baller and bug coming on. Come on, who you have your bug of the week?
Everton. I'm not going to say Poch. I'm not going to say the coach because he put the players that he bought and brought into the club on the field. His lineup didn't change. So he is putting confidence, putting his faith, his trust in these players. And they go out there week in and week out and fail this man. Granted, the last goal that was scored against Everton was kind of like a flux a little bit but I'm going to give it to Everton. They continue to disappoint me.
Maybe they want Marco Silva to get fired. Come on. I mean, come on.
Maybe.
Why don't just give Marco Silva the bug of the week?
Mm-mm.
Just Everton is yet to win a Premier League game away from home this season. Actually, I don't remember the last time they won a Premier League game away from home under Marco Silva tenure tutelage. But Everton lost yesterday to a very feisty Brighton Hove as Brighton defeated them 3-2 in a very entertaining matchup with an own goal
Hold
at
on,
the end.
hold on, sorry. Did I say Pot? Whatever Pot on my mind is Silver.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
He's the next bug
So you
Silver.
want to go ahead and give Pachi your bug of the week also?
No, because we're going to talk about that penalty.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the penalty. So Jug says his ball of the week is Raheem Sterling hat trick for US the Champions League and then a goal on the weekend. Expecting more from him next weekend against Southampton, and we'll get to Southampton in a little bit. The engineer, big up everybody. He says the engineer ball of the week is Marshall.
As usual.
I wonder why. Marshall's Jug said the bug of the week is Arsenal. 2-goal lead this morning and then ended the game 2-2 at home. Yes, Jug. Arsenal. Yeah, come on, go ahead.
No. I was just laughing.
Yeah, Jug, Arsenal.
Jug is correct.
And Michael Starboy, I see you're rolling in family. Who is your ball of the week if you have a ball of the week? Send on your ballers of the week and your bug of the week. All right, to segue from, so Cameron's bug of the week is Everton. She's not giving it to Marco Silva. She's just going to give it to the players themselves. All right? Oh, the bug is moving around at Everton. My bug of the week is Granit Xhaka. And granted, we're all emotional beings, we can get the better, our emotions can get the better of us sometimes. But Granit Xhaka today had a meltdown, so to speak. I mean, he was being booed or being jeered by his own fans at home. And rumor is that Granit Xhaka even tell the fans, F you. Granit Xhaka took his jersey off, Arsenal captain. This is the captain of this team. Took his jersey off and stormed off. Granit Xhaka is the bug of the week, and I know things are horrible at Arsenal. I know Unai Emery is garbage, but Brethren, it's unacceptable behavior by Granit Xhaka. So he's my bug of the week. Any honorable mentions for bug of the week? Come on.
Anthony Taylor, the referee for the Liverpool and Tottenham game, is my second bug of the week. Is an honorary mention because we'll continue after this, but just pencil him in for me, please.
So Anthony Taylor in the game, and I suspect is relating to that penalty, is the honorable bug of the week for Camon. And just to kind of hit some of the families, bug of the ballers of the week on Facebook. Junior, the engineer, bug of the week is VAR, too inconsistent. Jug says bug of the week is Arsenal. Junior, bug of the week is also Arsenal. Everton is big bug side. Michael Starboy. Staggerbox says Marshall is the star of the week. I wonder which team he's supporting. The Manchester United family running in. Ball of the week, Michael Starboy says is Christian Pulisic is the ball of the week. Staggerbox says Spurs is a bug side. Bug of the week, how if you start play ball when you're down 2-1? Kiss me teeth. Why do you start playing 2-1? Why do you start playing after being down 2-1? Bug of the week, right, Staggerbox for Spurs. And Xhaka. Michael says Xhaka bug as captain. You can't do that. That is bug performance. Whoa, that's a mouthful. I also one honorary bug for me, come on, is Southampton. How in this day and age a team is going to get 9-0? Come on.
So, but remember that Bertrand got a red card, a straight red in the 12 minutes. So they were down. I remember this is Southampton we're talking about. Even with 11 men, and the referee kind of helped them sometimes make it 12. Even then, they're still not a good team. So Leicester is an attacking team. Don't forget that. And then when you look at it too, they also defend. So it's not like you have them leave them back open while they're up the top. So for Southampton to be down a man, that was detrimental. So I wouldn't expect nine, but I expected a big loss for Southampton. This is
Nine,
embarrassing.
nine, come on. That is similar. And family watching us on Facebook, we're about to get to the Liverpool versus Spurs matchup, but Southampton got 9-0. That is equating to the actual Women's Premier League in Jamaica. That is
You need
just
to stop it.
that is just foolishness. How is it that you're going to stand up on a field and get 9 love? Come on. Come on.
You don't a man. That's just how it is.
All right, to segue from our ballers and bugs, and family, keep your ballers and bugs coming on Facebook and YouTube. Um, the Liverpool versus Spurs matchup. Spurs took the lead early. I mean, Spurs fans, I ran into a Spurs fan at an event earlier today, and he was just carefully watching the game to see, but he expected the Spurs to melt down at the end there. Come on, your thoughts on this game overall? I mean, it seems like it was just a formality as Liverpool ran out victors.
It's not a formality. Yes, Tottenham had a slow start. That's Tottenham for you. I mean, like once in a while, I see Tottenham come out hot out of the gate, but Tottenham was actually holding their own versus Liverpool. But to award a penalty like that, it's terrible. Everybody talk about VAR, VAR, VAR. Okay, VAR is good if it is used consistently and used well. The defender's back was turned towards goal. He was going away from goal. He was trying to kick the ball that was in front of him. Mane is behind him, hook his foot in the defender's foot before he could kick the ball and was awarded a penalty. That is, if that's not crazy and foolishness, I don't know what is. And I want a Liverpool fan to actually defend that because that's crazy. If we're going to give that as a penalty in any game, then it's just the penalty rule needs to be changed. That makes no sense. It just makes absolutely no sense.
Um, Football family, come on, is saying that this is not a penalty, all right? And she's the referee, she's the expert, but I would give that as a penalty. And I want to hear your thoughts on Facebook. Is that a penalty? And the reason why I would give it as a penalty, Mane was going after the ball. He was trying to get the ball. He stepped in front of Serge Aurier to get the ball, and Serge just make a wild kick and kick him. So I would give it as a penalty. Your thoughts on this football family? Is that a penalty? But overall, I mean, Tottenham set up in a defensive posture. Come on. I mean, it just seems like Tottenham decided to park a bus and try to hit them on the counter.
But the same thing Manchester United tried to do versus Liverpool. Everybody seemed to think defending against Liverpool works, and it just don't work. Liverpool is too good of an attacking team to take part the bus line down. People need to get away from that. Listen, we can't talk about Spurs all we want, but last time when Spurs went to the Champions League finals, I just think it was a fluke. You know, sometimes some things happen like once in a lifetime. That was it. Once in a lifetime for Spurs. Spurs is not a good team. They're just not a good team. And the matchup versus Liverpool was not really equal. I thought that Liverpool would have run out with the score, but Tottenham actually held their own. So teams need to stop, playing defensive football against Liverpool. It's just not working. Attack Liverpool, but don't make them catch it on the counter.
Yeah, I mean, if you see that, they set up in a defensive posture, you're going to lose anyway. Spurs have gotten 12 points from 9 games starting the season. It's their worst start to the season since 2014-2015. I mean, you had an exceptional performance in Champions League in the middle of the week. Then you go to Anfield. I think everyone know that you're going to lose the game, but you set up in a defensive posture. I don't think the Spurs unit plays its best football in a defensive posture. Staggerbach says he doesn't like Liverpool, but it's a straight penalty. Surge is too wild, and it's a typical Spurs performance. I cannot agree anymore. They get up for a few games, and they get. Junior Engineer said Son should have simply scored an equalizer. Let's see. Poch is brain dead, according to Michael Starboy on Facebook. Yes, Poch is brain dead. Coach, he's just not a winner. He's a loser. I definitely agree with you. And honestly, Michael says he thinks it's a penalty too. The guy is too wild. So clearly,
listen. Being wild is not a criteria for giving a penalty.
yeah, it's a
Not.
criteria today.
It's yeah, but see, if we're going to do that, then we leave the game open for different, interpretation. A player can be wild. We see them boogie like a player, but that's not a criteria for giving a penalty. We have to be careful with this. So you know what's going to happen now?
Yeah.
Any striker, any attacking player will hook their foot in a defender's foot to get the penalty. You can't. That's not how it works. If both players were going towards goal and Mane and the defender had an equal vision of the ball, then we could have said, of course, the attacking player always gets the advantage in that situation. But they were both going away from goal and the ball was in front of the defender. It's not like the defender was far behind the ball and he had no chance to catch it. Mane hooked the defender foot from behind. That's not a penalty. That's not the penalty. And I'm going to go dig up my rule book and look at whatever. And next week we're going to talk about this because no, seriously. So then now, if Liverpool goes on to win and they get more of these calls, then people are going to say that Liverpool, them doing a Fergie, they're dropping off the brown envelopes before the game then start because that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Football family watching us on Facebook. Let me try to get through some of these comments here. Michael says Spurs need to retool. They haven't really been in the transfer window. Plus, they also missed Trippier. Staga says Manchester United didn't defend against Poole. We stopped their fullbacks, which made them look ordinary. Why Kane cannot bench and Moura start? Yeah, why Harry Kane cannot start? Why Lucas Moura cannot start? I have the same question. Jug says, I agree with you. Come on, that wasn't a penalty. She's given a proper analysis of why it is not a penalty. Weird. Come on now, fan base.
I mean.
And the Michael Star was a good talk. G. Kane needs to be on the bench. All right. So before we wrap up this Liverpool Spurs game and move on to some other games in the EPL, come on. Liverpool now is leading the EPL 6 points ahead of Manchester City after the drop points against Manchester United. Liverpool just continue to do well. They're undefeated at home in a long time. I mean, this is a well-oiled machine, right? They went down early in the game, but they were able to see out this victory anyway. Your thoughts?
I think if it was a better team to Tottenham, Liverpool would have struggled today. If they had fallen early like how they did against Spurs, I think it would have been a struggle for them to really find their way back into the game. But Spurs is always going to be Spurs. We can't put a pot on fire and depend on Spurs. So even though we say Liverpool's doing well, we're still waiting on Liverpool to kind of break down because we all know that at some point the oil out of a well-oiled machine kind of dry up. We're early. Manchester City, they're playing good football as well. I don't see 6 points as a barrier or, something that Manchester City cannot overcome. It's going to be tight. It's going to be down to the wire. And all Liverpool and Manchester City need to focus on is just winning games, grinding out those results and winning games.
Yeah. And so, come on, before we segue from this game also, Dele Alli. And Dele Alli looks a shadow of the Dele Alli that we saw, 2-3 years ago. I mean, he was a player, one who was making a lot of headway. I mean, we thought that this guy would just transform into, some of us at least, transform to another level, but he seemed to have regressed. Your thoughts on what Dele Alli is doing, and I mean, do you share this view that he seems to have regressed in his last 2 years or so?
I think Tottenham will do that to anybody. Just like how United States will make Christian Pulisic look ordinary, but when he comes to Chelsea, he's a star player. So, you know, you have some of those teams that care how good a player you are. You just can't elevate the team, and they look ordinary, they look bad, then you look bad. But not only that, so Dele Ali have a whole bunch of off the field issues where we need to get under control. He's been all over the place and being all wild. So maybe, and the English press killing him about it, killing him for it. So maybe those things, you know, are coming into play. But I do agree, he's not the same player. But we have to be fair. Players do have seasons where the players they used to be, the ones that we look at Salah. Remember when Salah was in our funk?
Yes.
And we all know that Salah is a great player.
Yeah.
But Dele Ali should go on a team. Maybe, and it might be sad when I say go on a Burnley or an Aston Villa or one of those teams where his quality can actually help the team. Nothing can help Spurs unless Poch decides to bench Harry Kane, which I don't think he will because he is captain England.
Yeah.
So if Harry Kane is there, I mean, the team is just not playing well. So Dele Ali not going to look good.
Yeah, and Facebook family, some really agree with you. Regarding Harry Kane, Pochettino said a few years ago that, you know, remember, I think it was two, maybe 3 seasons ago, he was on the verge, Pochettino was on the verge of maybe even getting the booth at Spurs, and he said that Harry Kane saved his job, you know, by scoring a bag of goals at the end of that season to really kind of elevate Spurs. And subsequently, I don't think he's going to bench a Harry Kane, but I mean, Lucas Moura, oh my God, Lucas Moura should be seeing more playing time at this team. To kind of get you some more comments on Facebook, Kane on the bench is no goal poaching ability equals no goal poaching ability. That's according to the engineer. Yes, Dele Alli has not been managed properly, says Michael. He's played too many matches. Michael said it would be sad if Liverpool leads up to Christmas and don't win the league. No one does that. And Staga says, I agree with Camon. Liverpool is not that great in midfield and defensively. If we had our strongest team, is a Manchester United fan now, if we had our strongest team. If we had our strongest team, we would have beaten them. Norwich and Southampton run them ragged. Liverpool just lucky at the moment, but them soon to have a typical Stephen G. What is that, a hope or prayer from Staga? The engineer said 2 games left versus City. Pool seems stressed by the undefeated title, almost like they need a loss, as crazy as it sounds. Michael says Dele is not as good as we thought he was. Big up Dalton and the Liverpool family tuning in also from Facebook. I guess Michael Starboy says Dele is not as good as we thought they were. I thought he was. All right, segueing from the Liverpool versus Spurs matchup to some other games in EPL. Come on, Christian Pulisic. Get your Chelsea talking, because we don't know if you love Chelsea. Get your Chelsea talking and Christian Pulisic. Performance.
Listen, it was a good performance. Lampard have issues. But good issues. Lampard have a young, strong core group of players who are clicking, right? So they're winning their games and they're winning in convincingly good fashion. But while he may be concentrated on the front line, the scoring ability, the wings, and the midfield, he left the back open. So defensively, Chelsea is weak, and Lampard should see if he can shore it up by digging into the academy players or getting some of the players that they have on loan out there to come out and do defensive duties. But for now, I can't complain. Yeah. Lampard is clicking, Chelsea is clicking. So I think top 3. I don't think we're going to beat the Liverpool and the Manchester City for the title, but I think number 3 is there for Chelsea taking.
Wait, top 3, your chest high? All right. some other major news because we're definitely impressed with what Chelsea did against a physical Burnley team. Christian Pulisic getting on the field, so we were definitely impressed with his performance, and hopefully there'll be greater things to come from him at Chelsea. Arsenal though, come on. What is going on at Arsenal? They lost to Sheffield United on Monday night matchup. They lost on Monday, and today they're ahead of Crystal Palace at home. They end up tying the game, and it's just one big mess. Is Unai Emery going to see out this year at Arsenal? And what is going on at Arsenal?
Arsenal is a mess. I think I heard where they're saying that they were talking to Mourinho.
Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, for the Arsenal job. Today was an example of how VAR is used and used sparingly and used well. So when Zaha got booked for diving, it wasn't a dive, right?
Yeah.
It went to VAR. VAR overturned and gave the penalty. So VAR was good for helping Crystal Palace, but Arsenal should have put the game away. That's what happened to you when you don't put the game away. It was there for the taking, and you didn't. The captain, he embarrassed himself today, and he embarrassed the club. I mean, don't matter what the fans say to you. You can't tell the people who pay your salary, who support your club, to F off, and then immediately walk down the tunnel. So I don't think he should get the captain's armband. I don't think that will happen. But something is rotten in Arsenal. The coach is over his head. The players aren't that good. Ozil was in the stands. Fans were serenading Ozil. Ozil is a player. Ozil is a player who we love to curse. We love to say he's slow and he doesn't look interested and he doesn't give 100%. So when that player is being serenaded by the fans, then something is really wrong with Arsenal.
Imagine, come on, imagine. Mesut Ozil, a lazy, slow Mesut Ozil is getting serenaded by Arsenal fans. So what a day. What a day. Let me hit some of the comments also on our Facebook. Dalton said his ball of the week is Fabinho, Pulisic, and Cole Spurs keeper. Is his bug of the week, is the ball of the week. Junior said, the engineer said, Teleno, from the first week, Chelsea will be knocking on that top two. Okay, go easy, Junior. Go easy.
Top two.
Starboy said Chelsea is doing very good at the moment. Staga says Chelsea have not played anybody yet. And Michael said someone was saying that Chelsea was on a transfer ban and they are above United. Like, really? Arsenal is just Arsenal. Next topic, Michael said, bug of the week for Dalton is Southampton and jack off of ass. And I want to emphasize, he said the word Arsenal. As a captain, your team is in a tie game and you get sub and you choose to do that. Staggerback said, please don't mention Arsenal and Ballshot. Them are the worst. Are they worse than Southampton? And Michael says, Ozil is just laughing all the way to the bank. That he is, Michael. £350,000 a week. And Ozil is not playing. Other major news from EPL this week. Come on. Manchester City took care of their business. Manchester United defeated Norwich. I mean, the Manchester United family seems to be very excited. Manchester United went to a rough place, Norwich, and secured those 3 points. I mean, that's impressive, right? A place that, Manchester City lost.
Norwich,
yeah, but...
Okay. Listen,
right.
at this point, Manchester United should be glad when the team shows up and gets 3 points. I mean, they're not consistent enough to say, okay, they're going to go in and play good football. But today, they actually made the engineer happy. Yes.
All right, other major news from hitting some teams, some news around Europe. Bundesliga quickly, Lewandowski have scored 19 goals already, come on, in all competition. as Bayern Munich continues to run hot in the German league. Your thoughts on this achievement? I mean, he seems to be doing quite well, scoring in German Cup, Bundesliga, and Champions League.
I mean, he was always a prolific goal scorer. I mean, what is new is just that he's probably getting better over time, and he's older, so you would think it would be, he would slow down a little bit. But it's good that he can show that he's still valuable to a club.
Yeah.
Now, are we going to say that maybe the Bundesliga has been watered down?
No, it's not. No, it's not.
So he's still playing good football.
He's still playing good football. The Bundesliga is actually 8 teams that are stacked, that are separated by a few points at the top of that table. I don't know the outcome of the Mönchengladbach game today, but I know they had the chance to continue to lead at the top of the table or even separate themselves from the pack. Big Dortmund drew with Schalke, and that's one of the enigmas there with Dortmund. They run very hot sometimes they run very cold. But the reason why I brought up Dortmund, come on, and before we get away from German football, there's discussions supposedly that are taking place between Jose Mourinho and Borussia Dortmund. Do you see him?
Jose Mourinho name called everywhere. Everybody wants Jose until he's
gonna get a nice check wherever he ends up, huh?
Jose is not a good fit for Dortmund.
Yes.
I don't see Jose as, to be fair, I see him as Arsenal's coach. Because no, we can laugh all we want to laugh, but Jose get results. He comes in, he has a team that's in trouble. He comes in, he helps them. But after he reaches the second year, the third year, he gets bored and then he gets fired. But he's not a good fit for Borussia Dortmund. I think Borussia Dortmund will be smart enough not to let Jose come into their camp and disrupt their unity. But Borussia Dortmund is currently in 5th place, and they're not far off the table.
Yeah, they're not.
Because first place is on 19 points. And they're in 5th on 16. It's a whole bunch of ball game leagues to be played.
Yes.
They just need to be consistent. Get the lead and keep the lead.
Yeah, and that's one of the criticism of Lucien Favre and Borussia Dortmund is that defensively they've been lost at sea, and they need somebody to come in and shore up that unit defensively, and maybe Jose Mourinho is the man. So we'll see. But like you said, Jose Mourinho is mentioned with every job out there.
Mm-hmm.
And yes. Come on, Staga says, do not mention Arsenal and ball chat again. Don't bother with it. Other major news, trying to hit some news around Europe this weekend before we quickly just touch the major game in Champions League. Come on, Inter Milan had a chance to take the lead of the Serie A, and they tied with Parma. I mean, this Inter Milan team is like, I don't even know. What were your thoughts?
People thought that Inter Milan would be this world beater once they got the big bad. What's his name from Manchester United? I don't want to even call his name.
Lukaku.
Okay, all right.
Or Alexis Sanchez.
The person with the world's first touch. They thought that they would get a world beater in him. As even Alexis Sanchez can actually make a difference. And it's not like they don't have a good coach.
Yes.
They have a good coach, and he plays pretty football. And the Serie A is not like back in the day when it was like everybody was fighting. They're actually playing good ball. Yeah. So Inter Milan needs to identify their struggles and work with it, because you have this big, strong, fast player up top. Should be banging in all the goals.
Yeah. Segueing from Italian football, and quickly, as we know we're pushing up against the clock in Champions League. Come on, Inter Milan defeated Dortmund as they're in that group with Barcelona. Your thoughts on the game? Barcelona defeated Slavia Praha. Messi scored in 15 consecutive seasons in the Champions League. Your thoughts on Inter Milan versus Dortmund victory in Champions League, and Messi's accomplishment in that 15 season in a row?
If Messi don't win Champions League, I don't want to hear about no scoring, no almost season in a row. If you can't produce when you are supposed to produce. I don't want to hear about Messi is the best player in the world. He's expected to score. So for him to have this record of scoring consistently, whatever, that's not win the major trophies, and then we can talk.
Yes, 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 yes. And I mean, Inter Milan secure a vital victory over Dortmund in that group because, of course, two of those teams will go through to the next round of the Champions League, and maybe will be Dortmund, maybe will be on the outside looking in. PSG did quite well. Kylian Mbappe scored a hat trick. Also, he seems to be rounding in form as Neymar is, currently healing. That's the right time, right, for PSG. Neymar is on the sideline. Kylian Mbappe now kicking into form. That's a good thing for PSG, right?
You really watch PSG?
Yeah, we watch in the
like,
Champions League.
I am happy for PSG. I hope Neymar stays there and he repays them the trust that they put in him. So
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it was business as usual.
Yes.
PSG, they had a good run. They played well. Let's see if they show up when it really matters.
Yes. And the engineer said that regarding German football, Gladbach is a big side, Mönchengladbach. Michael said there's a whole bunch of football left to be played, and that's absolutely accurate. The engineer said they thought Lukaku was going to grow a first touch overnight, and he started laughing. And of course, Michael is laughing with him. Engineer said, Starboy said Messi is the second best player in the world. And of course, you know who is the best. And of course, the Cristiano Ronaldo fans are running in hot. All right, Segway, any other big takeaways from football in Europe this week? Come on, watching games?
No, I mean, nothing crazy. I was hoping and praying that we could watch some Barcelona and Real Madrid, but that put off. So I mean, nothing else crazy happened.
So the El Clasico is put off till next week, till December. Actually, it's been postponed till December.
I think is it in Miami still?
I don't even know where it will be. I don't even know the date yet on where exactly it will be. Come on, before we even head home and preview a couple of games coming on the pipe in EPL and in Europe. Under 17, the U17 FIF U17 World Cup is currently going on, and there's a chance to see some young talent. The tournament started last night, yesterday to be exact, in Brazil. Have you catch any of the tournaments so far? Brazil, Peglo was quite impressive. Brazil defeated Canada 4-1. Every team claims they have a little Messi, but this kid out of Nigeria's Amu was quite impressive in showing. Your thoughts on if you catch any of these games?
Actually, yeah, and I was watching the Senegal versus USA earlier.
Yeah.
And so USA, they were down 3-1. These players, Nigeria, Senegal, and Brazil, they actually look like grown men, like in terms of their technical ability, the footwork, the speed, the just the thought on the field. Like some players are out there that they're very slow in thought and action. These players actually have vision.
Yes,
so it's going to be an interesting U17, and I'm actually enjoying the U17. So as it progresses, we can talk about it, and next week we'll have more to talk about.
Yeah, it's I'm really fascinated to see the young players as the future potential stars start to strut their stuff at this youth tournament level. I mean, the vision, like you said, the technical ability that's shown, and Joe Scaly in the U.S. is highly talked about in the U.S. circle, and we'll watch his career. We don't want to put too much pressure on him. Come on, is Haiti in this tournament also, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. I think Haiti, because they went through the CONCACAF. I think so.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
think
sure.
so.
I have to look.
Yeah, so Haiti and Canada and the US, I think, are the CONCACAF represent. But we'll keep you up to date on this U17 tournament. Football lovers, check out the games are shown on Fox Sports. Fox Sports has the rights, so Sports 1, Fox Sports 2 has the right. Some beautiful football being played. This game has been held, tournament's been held in Brazil, and it's young
Oh,
talent. So
they
as a love,
are. I'm sorry. Yeah, Haiti is in Group C,
yes,
and the next game they have and they're in a very tough group. They're going to play against Korea Republic.
yeah, yeah.
So they're in a top hard group, Group C, because they play against France and Chile.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, football fans, as we head home and wrap up our show, we preview. So, make sure you check out the U17 tournament. Some good football is being played. But let's wrap up our show as we head home and preview and predict a couple of games coming on the pipe. Everton versus Spurs is a big matchup next week in the EPL. November 3rd at 11:30 p.m. It's two losing teams. So I guess we flip a coin. Marco Silva, will he actually be coaching this game? Which one of these teams need this victory? And this game is at Everton. Which of these managers need this victory the most? Pochettino or Marco Silva? And your prediction, come on.
Marco Silva needs this game more than Poch. Poch did say he has a 5-year contract. He's not going anywhere. Tottenham not going to spend any money. If they bring a coach in, a coach will need new players, have new vision. I like Poch because he will stick with Harry Kane. So I think win, lose, or draw, Poch is safe.
Yes.
Silva, on the other hand, remember we talk about all that money was spent, how much $1 million, how much £1 million was spent to bring in players. They still have not seen the results or seen any gain from spending all that money. So he needs this win. I don't think a draw is good enough for him. He can do it because I still think Everton have the players that can win games. And if we see the Tottenham that we see day in, day out, Everton can beat them.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually going to speak Tottenham. Tottenham, they beat a team in the Champions League last week, 4 or 5, and they ran into a juggernaut today against Liverpool. Tottenham is getting right, and I'm going to pick Tottenham and Pochettino to get right next week against Everton. Plus, I want Marco Silva to go at Everton. I want to see Moises Kean on the field, and Moises Kean is still sitting far down the bench. I mean, it seems like he's there languishing and probably wasting his time in that outfit at Everton. I think Tottenham will win this matchup. The other big match that we'll predict in La Liga, Sevilla versus Atletico Madrid. I don't even know if this is a big matchup. Sevilla did start the season red hot with Julian Lopetegui. They've since fallen off the boil. Atletico Madrid and Diego Simeone are still trying to figure themselves out. Your thoughts on this? Atletico Madrid is sitting in 3rd or 2nd in La Liga.
Even with Chicharito, Sevilla they're not doing well. They're not clicking on all cylinders. Atletico Madrid, I think they just need the final piece to make their team complete. But Sevilla shouldn't be a great obstacle for Atletico Madrid. I see Atletico Madrid beating Sevilla convincingly.
Yeah. And big up the Facebook family. Michael says, what happened to Moises Kean? Come on, care to talk on Moises Kean? What his struggles are he's having? Is it just he's in a bad situation now at Everton? I mean, he's a young player, a very highly touted player. And
expensive too.
And a very expensive transfer. What is going on? Your thoughts?
They say the English Premier League is a very hard league to play in. You realize that most foreigners take a while to adjust. The playing style is different. Maybe the atmosphere is different. The weather probably different. I have no idea why. But for him not being included and in the squad to really show what he can do, it just, I don't know. It is mind-boggling. He was on the bench, but he didn't even get 10 minutes and seen that Everton was actually struggling against a Brighton. So when will you use this highly touted player if you can't use him against winners? You're not giving him an opportunity to showcase his talent, or you're not giving him an opportunity to show the fans why he was this expensive transfer. So I don't know what they plan on doing with him. He's young. He needs guidance. Maybe Silva isn't the coach that we thought he is.
Yeah. Marcus Silva doesn't seem to be the right guy for him to develop his talent. I mean, this kid came out of Juve's system, highly touted, and understandably, he moved on from Juve because he wants more playing time. Juve has aspiration of Champions League, but Theo Walcott is getting more playing time than him, which begs to say a lot, which says a lot. Come on, final say as we wrap up the show. We survive without the engineer. Engineer, we miss you. Final say, come on.
Yes, engineer, we miss you. But this was this was a good show. So you might need to stay away next week. But no, come back, Junior. We miss you. But but I am really waiting on the games next week. I want to see what Chelsea will be doing, if we're going to continue this trend.
Yes,
I do have faith in my boy Lampard. All of a sudden, I have faith in Lampard.
You have
right?
faith in Lampard. 7 wins in a row, right? 7 wins in a row.
Right. So now, if Southampton can beat Manchester City, people will forgive them that 9-0 craziness that they put up on the pitch. The Aston Villa Liverpool, I'm not sure if Aston Villa will be able to hold off the great Liverpool. It's going to be really crazy. Arsenal should have a good time against Wolverhampton. Maybe
that should be
maybe maybe they can get a victory and keep the coach happy. Watford always seems to be one of those teams that Chelsea have problems with. They give us a fight. So hopefully next week, Saturday, we can have some good games and see some crazy results to make our show great next week.
And this is the winless Watford. Come on. This is the winless Watford. If Watford beat Chelsea next week, you're going to get a warm time on the show.
I know.
To just wrap up our family on Facebook, read these last comments. Michael said, what happened to Moises? Engineer said, look like the coach hates him. Michael says, but Walcott gets game. Staga said the FA, Big Chiefs, and VAR are all Liverpool supporters. Them do everything in them power to make them win the league, but the stone with them dash way, I come back to hunt them. Okay, Staga, I'm on sound bitter family. All right, football family, as we head out today, link us on social media. Link us on Instagram at Ball Chat Podcast, on Twitter at Ball Chat 1. Our Facebook channel is Ball Chat. You can email us at ballchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Ball Chat Podcast. Later, family. Respect. Come on, later.
All right, bless up.